Welcome to the Wildcast podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Oh, welcome back to Wildcast Studios for our Christmas episodes of the Wildcast podcast, your unofficial voice for all things Moncton Wildcats. And as you can see on the YouTube, we are Christmasified. We are ready. As always, I am your host Adam, and I am joined by still the luckiest man in Moncton, your favorite co-hoster, Mr. Jeremy Boucher. Have you won anything this past week, sir?
No W's.
No W's?
No W's this week.
Okay.
No, but I can. I'm quite sad. I'm quite impressed. You managed to turn Christmas into a verb. I have never heard of Christmasfied. Christmasfied?
Yeah.
Okay.
Christmasfied.
That's
Not sure if it's real, but I'm going to go with it.
I've never heard of that one, but we will Webster's Dictionary. We'll make an application to put her in next year.
Yeah. You know, if you follow us on the social medias, you obviously do. The little one is now got a first shot.
Yes. We went there Monday night.
Yep.
We were supposed to go Saturday at the Coliseum, but then we got an email from the school saying that they were going to do a clinic at the school on a Monday or Tuesday, so we decided to go Monday. And so big moment for the Boucher family, and it's kind of like one of those. I don't want to talk about it too much, but I think because I want to talk about it a little later in the show. That's just to kind of spoil
teaser
right there. So we'll stop on that topic and get into something else there, I guess. But I would like to apologize to our listeners, of course. For last week, of course, for them who's I didn't realize the chewing of Timbits would come through so
precise
and volumized on the microphones through your speakers.
It's a work in progress, people.
Yeah, we are. So I'd like to apologize to those who had to endure the chewing of Timbits in their ears or on their car stereos or however you watch us on last week's episode.
Yeah, you kind of forget about that as we're eating it. You don't think you're just testing
really
them out. You're looking at the video like, oh, these ones aren't bad, not too bad. But yeah, you kind of forget that you can hear almost everything on the mic.
Another thing we should try is that new burger from Wendy's. See the commercial for that one? The barbecue bacon cheese pub burger or something. On a pretzel bun.
Oh, okay.
So that's still around next week. We might do a taste test. Man, she looks like a nice piece of meat between some buns. I tell you that.
I need the bacon mushroom melt from Wendy's to come back.
Yeah, you're big on that one.
This is getting ridiculous. It's been October, November. We're still waiting on it. Let's go. That's my. What do you feel like eating for dinner when that thing's on? That's what I go for. You got it there, the happy hour.
The pretzel bacon pub cheeseburger.
Whew, that does sound good.
Beer cheese sauce, applewood smoked bacon, crispy onion tanglers, and of course, never forget, the fresh, never frozen Canadian beef on a fluffy pretzel bun.
I got to say, if you're listening to this first thing in the morning, I think you know where you're going for lunch, and that's Wendy's. Let's get to some Masked Singer. I didn't have it set up for when the actual part starts, but all right, we got Group A finals. The skunk was finally revealed. Faith Evans, which you pretty much guessed the whole time. I went Brandy. We were in that realm. You could kind of tell in that realm.
The pufferfish clue was what gave it away for me. Puff Daddy, I'll be missing you. So I picked on that one just like that. So yeah, the bull crap. I have no idea what.
It finally hit me last week. I haven't had a single guess on the bull. I thought it was an athlete early on, but the latest clue package had some queen, what do they call the helpers there? The Men in Black.
Okay.
He was in it. He had a crown, queen-esque, and when he came out and sang the first song, it sounded like Adam Lambert. He's got a very distinct voice. The second one with Jesse McCartney, not so much, but when you're a professional singer, you can change your voice to your performance. So I'm gonna go with Adam Lambert as the bull. I know Jenny came out with it. She thinks the same thing. So he Whoever it is, the Bull is off to the finals and will take on either Banana Split or Queen of Hearts, who we're going to find out who that is tonight. I think it's like Queen of Hearts is Jewel. I don't know who Banana Split is, but I think Queen of Hearts will be in the final.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm not a big fan of those. I've never liked the duos. It's called Masked Singer, not Masked Singers. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the duo. So yeah, I'll go with the skunk taking on the Queen of Hearts and was it the Golden Ear? Is that what
The
they
Bull,
play?
you mean?
The Bull. Excuse me. Yes, the Bull
Versus
against the Queen of Hearts.
I'm not really sure what. The
For the
Golden Ear is the guest or the judge's trophy.
Right.
I don't know.
What do they play
The
for?
mirror ball.
The Golden Mask?
The mirror ball is Dancing with the Stars. Yeah, the Golden Mask maybe.
Golden Mask. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah,
All right.
so good.
All right.
Good talk.
Good talk. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Moncton Wildcast, Instagram, Wildcast Podcast, now TikTok. And you can follow, like, and subscribe on the YouTube. No quick question. Let's get to some news and notes from around the queue.
News and notes from around the queue.
We had a trade this past week. Actually, we had a trade on Monday. Sean Stewart was traded from Drummondville to the Huskies for a 2024 12th. Not sure he'll report to Rwanda, but
it's a good pickup. You
yeah.
know, to me, if you look at that, and that's makes that return we got last year look pretty good. So, no idea if he gets if he goes up and plays for Rouen. It's quite a difference being playing for. I think he's playing for Pictou, and which is kind of in the Antigonish backyard kind of thing, and now you're looking to go in northwest Quebec. So
makes it a little tough when you're 20.
It does.
Yeah.
But there's also got its advantages because every year you play in the league, that gets one extra year of your university paid for.
For sure.
So it's definitely something he should consider. And Rouen has been a very good market for attracting maritime players because they do have an English high school. Not a lot of people know that. So it's a good market for maritime players. Brad Yetman, I think, is their coach. Really one of the more up and coming coaches in the queue. So I think it would be a good opportunity if he did in fact report to Rouen. But at the same time, he's playing pretty much in his backyard. So we'll see what happens there.
Just have to decide if his love for poutine outweighs playing in his backyard.
Oh yeah, of course. We've been told that one of the best poutines in the queue is right across from the
by a few people actually.
Yeah, what is it called? It's not the
I never remember what it's called.
Glenmore Arena, is that what they play? I don't know.
Where Ren plays?
Where Ren plays Glenmore.
It used to be Glencore.
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 Yeah. So apparently, it's one of the top poutines in the league, right across from the arena.
We're gonna have to make that. I said that a few times watching the games. I said, Jeremy and I need to make this trip for this type of road trip. As well, Alexi Daniel was named Scholastic Player of the Month.
Nerd. Just kidding, obviously.
That was funny. I didn't see that coming in. Your QHL Team of the Week, Patrick Gay, 3 games. He had 4 goals, 4 assists. Xavier Bargo for Shawinigan, 3 games, 5 goals, 4 assists. Maverick Bork made his return with 2 goals and 6 assists. Defenseman Jeremy Poirier had 2 goals, 4 assists in 4 games. Kyle McCallum had 5 assists in 2 games, and Fabio Iacobo 2-1 with a 9.44 and a 1.63 save percentage. Yeah, Maverick Bork made quite an impact in his two games that he returned just in time to leave for World Juniors.
Yeah, which is like soon. Don't they go like this week?
Yeah, they leave on Thursday. They leave tomorrow.
Holy smokes.
Nothing better than that World Junior that takes 2 weeks.
It's almost as long as a QMGHL training camp.
Just about. Yeah, he just got back in time to him and Borgo. Poirier's there, right? Poirier's invited? Or was it Villeneuve?
No.
There was a Sea Dog invited, wasn't there?
Dufour.
Dufour, okay.
Yeah, no, but no Poirier, no Villeneuve. Joshua Watt. Okay, second that St. John. Yeah, Joshua Watt got invited. Dinoyer.
Yeah. Are you surprised LaRue didn't get invited?
He's got next year.
Yeah. Lucas Cormier, Zach Dean, Lapierre, Olivia Michaud, Louis Robitaille. who was assistant coach,
Mm-hmm.
and equipment manager for Baie-Comeau, Brian St. Louis.
There you go.
So that's that's a pretty good crew from there.
I like how they only took 3 goalies.
Yeah.
Brett Brochu, Dylan Garand, and Sebastian Kosa.
Yeah. I
Uh,
would guess it's Kosa's net.
well, Garand's the returnee, right?
Yeah.
But no, he's starting to get those. He's first round pick, and so I wouldn't be surprised. But Brett Brochu's no slouch either. So I think they'll all get some action, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's a very deep net. I like the fact they only took 3 goalies. I think it's great.
Yeah, there's no point bringing 4 or 5 and having
Why bring 4? Like, why bring 4 goalies? Just cut one. Like,
Yeah.
It's these three. These 3 guys have been outstanding all season, and so it just makes sense.
Yep. All right, let's bring it close to home here.
Weekly Rewind.
Wildcats back from a 3-game road trip. Not as successful as the last 3-game road trip, but they did get 3 points out of 6, which I think Denise poll, 76% of people picked they would get 3 to 4 points out of the 6, bringing their record to 12, 8-3-1 for 28 points. 3rd in the Maritimes, 5th in the East. They started Wednesday with, we'll say, bus legs, take the tape, throw it away. Nothing just kind of went right from the get-go in this one, and they got beat down by Drummondville 7-1. I mean, Liam Kidney, their recent acquisition, I think he had 4 points or something like that. Yeah, goal, 3 assists. He made an impact there. They just had nothing from beginning to end. It was just one of those games where you just knew it was going to be their night.
Is there much to talk about here? Yeah, you're right. It was a tough game to get started on the road trip.
Yeah.
They were clearly not ready for this game. Outworked, I hate to say outcoached, but outworked, outmatched,
Out everything.
They just couldn't control Drummondville. Another city with an excellent put-in, if you ask me. Just a tough way to get going. And I guess, if I can tell you something good about the game.
I was going to say, tell me something good. We need a drop for that. Tell me something good.
Tell me something good, girl.
12:53. There it is. There's the drop.
Well, the younger Mercer didn't get a shutout.
Yeah?
Yeah, so we'll say that was tell you something good about that game is that Riley Mercer didn't get a shutout, and of course the one to break the shutout was Phelan 22. So that was even better, and that was a tough game to watch.
I went to bed at 5-0.
Well,
at 4-0, I was like, all right, if they can get the next one, maybe I'll 5-0. I'm out, and I literally texted 5-0. I just want LaBelle to keep a streak going and break the shutout. Yeah. Woke up to find out one of those 2 things happened, which isn't the worst. Okay, you're telling me something good was the Mercer, not the Mercier.
Yeah, I was gonna go there.
Yeah.
But it was like a 1B. I just see the shutout as not getting shut out as being a more good thing, because you look at that, if it wasn't a shutout, you're looking at 6-0. You're like, oof, damn, damn. But 6-1. I mean, it's obviously still still a tough result, but the one is tell them, Spider-Man, everybody gets one.
Yep, exactly. And then like we've said, broken record. After getting blown out, this team comes back. They rally. They played generally well. Friday night was no exception. We had Etienne Morin back in the lineup. He got a goal, but the Wildcats go down to defeat 4-3. And again, another quick overtime.
Can we just start denying overtime?
Yeah, it'd be a lot handier if we could get that quick goal instead of the turnover. I'm not sure on the overtime goal with Robidaw's rebound if it went off. Kalmakoff trying to block it and then off. Filion sticking in the net, but either way, I like the effort. They had the lead twice in this game, just couldn't find that next gear. Obviously, we hope that William Blackburn is okay.
Yeah,
I haven't heard anything. I had the tweet that you could see his own player push Kluche in, but when a stretcher comes out, it's more than a penalty, and they kind of have to call it whether the guy was pushed in or not. But obviously, I haven't looked or heard much, but we hope William Blackburn's okay, because that nobody needs to see a stretcher on a hockey game for a goaltender.
Yeah, it's not WWE,
No.
TLC or anything like that.
No.
This is a hockey game.
Yeah.
So anytime you see a stretcher, it's always you never want to see that.
Yep.
This is just another one of those games. It was for me. It was a good effort, but you kind of nailed it where they just couldn't give it that. They didn't have that.
That extra. Yeah.
If anybody's. That's definitely not. Well, this show's getting. That's an art rating.
Yeah. Yeah. Bring it back to PG. Bring it back.
Yeah. So something good about this game. I'll tell you something good about this game.
Right.
I'll tie it back into Etienne Morin here, because this is his first game back from the Capital City Challenge. And watching him during this game, I was like, "Damn, he looks tired." Like you could tell he wasn't. He just wasn't himself.
Yep.
And then, lo and behold, who scores a tying goal? This little sniper that we have for a defenseman. So, he's gonna be a freaking stud in this league, if you ask me.
Yep.
So I'll tell you that's something good for me is just how well he's played lately, and I was hoping it would be a different one, because if De Grossier didn't blow a tire going into that offensive zone, I thought maybe that result would be a little different.
Yeah.
But we'll give this one to Morin just because he's literally came out of nowhere to me looking tired. Playing probably 5 games in 6 or 7 days,
Something like that, yeah.
To coming in and tying this game up to get us at least a point. So that'll be my quick discussion on the game.
And you don't feel so bad losing in overtime with Justin Robidoux scoring real quick when he does it the exact same way, basically against the Islanders
the next night.
Yeah. So
exactly.
just increasing his trade value, and. The team seemed to put it together Saturday in the second of back-to-backs. Best effort I've seen in a while from the group. 7-2 victory over the Huskies, who they had lost in a shootout October 24th. That was just everything that went bad against Drummondville was in our favor this way, and everything went just right. Now the Huskies were without their 20-year-old goaltender, which sometimes can make things a little easier when they had Dorkel Mondre, who gave up 5, and then Louis Felix Chira, I think it was.
Chira,
yeah. Getting his feet wet.
Chira,
getting his feet wet, but
whatever will be, will be.
When he sings, you gotta let him go. But
hey, Chira.
We're good. All right. Yeah, everything that went right could have gone right in this game. I mean, 7-2. Things are going well when Connor Olsen's getting goals. Like when he's jumping up and he's getting goals, things are going well for your group. He's not a goal scorer. He's a he's a defensive defenseman. It's a good thing when he gets his goals.
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
He had like Barbashev putting the shot on net. Like, you think it's a forward driving the net. It's Connor Olsen.
Yeah.
Bobby Orr. This game was good. It was a good way to end the trip.
Yeah.
Driving home from Miranda, that's like a 20-hour drive. If at least 20 hours.
Yeah.
That's a long bus ride after a loss. So this was a good stamp. Good team win. Nothing really. Yeah, it was. I think it would have been a different story if Rouen had their 20-year-old goalie Richard, I think his name is, and but at the same time, Moncton took advantage of their opportunities and cashed in at every chance. But Rouen still had 32 shots on goal, so it's not like this was a Moncton didn't completely shut them down. This was a game where, Couture stood on his head again, makes some big saves. And, if I were to tell you something good about this game, my God, I had one and I totally forgot about it. Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, anytime your team can score as many goals as the Jacksonville Jaguars had points, it's a good time.
Nice little dig at the Jaguars.
So yeah, that's my something good for this game is touchdown.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a nice little shot at the Jags, and if you're putting up touchdowns, you're most likely going to win a lot of games this weekend. We got 2 Quebec teams coming in. We get to see Robidas probably for the last time. We'll probably see him a few more times if he ends up in a city about an hour and a half from here. In the 4-year on Friday in the rematch. Again, kind of a weird schedule. We played Chicoutimi at the start of November on the road, and then the following Friday we get them at home. We played Val-d'Or at the start of December on a Friday. We're going to get them on Friday at home. And then the Victoriaville Tigre in town Sunday for the Skate with the Cats and the Food Depot food drive game.
Patiner avec les chats sauvages.
No idea what he said.
Skate with the Cats.
Oui.
I'm actually going to the game on Friday.
What?
Yes. I love when the Gold Diggers come to town, which is what 4 is.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of, Val-d'Or. It's
Yeah.
So I love the Gold Diggers. So let's see some Robidas. Actually, he's not going to the World Junior Camp, so he'll be here.
No, he'll be here.
Yeah, and so let's bring in some Val-d'Or action, and I'm excited for this game. Got some guests coming with me, some special guests, some out of province guests.
Nice.
And so I will be definitely #in1. If we want to, anybody who follows, what's his name on? Is it Ryan Whitney? Ryan Whitney that says in1, or is it Paul Bissonnette? I am in one. Anyways, I'm not sure who it is.
I don't listen to the Spit and Chicklets.
Yeah, well, nobody should anyways. Guys are a bunch of. Anyways, so they say something about it's I forget who it is. Anyways, I'll be in one at this game at Friday night. Got a vacation day. I'm going all out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
gonna be.
Are you going Sunday too, or just Friday?
No. Just Friday.
Sunday?
Yeah, I'm trying to win that 50-50 again.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine? Can you freaking imagine?
Well, I took Ryan the next night to Baie-Comeau game, and he bought the same pack we did.
Yeah.
He's like, well, if you won, maybe I'll win with it. I'm like, it's not me, bro.
It's me.
It's got nothing to do with me. You can do whatever you want. It's Boucher. Mm-hmm. You gotta bring him in. Both these games are rematches. We've seen both these teams. It's tough when you only see the team once. About a month ago for each team on the road trip. I know that game against Victoriaville was the third of 3 and 4 nights. That was one of the boring games, but the Cats found a way to win, and it just depends how they're feeling on a back-to-back, because they have not been good on back-to-back nights, and that's something they got to get figured out, especially coming into the second half of the season where they're going to be an underdog a lot on some of these back-to-back nights.
Well, we said underdog a lot last year, but they managed to get some wins that I don't think many of us expected.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a different leadership group last year than it will be this year. So I do think the second half of this season will be a lot more tougher to get wins, just because St. John will be going all in. Like if I think St. John is going to have, on paper, arguably one of the best teams we have seen a Q team put together.
Like Moncton 2019-2020, with 7 NHLers?
I think it's going to be a lot. I think St. John will look a lot better on paper than that Moncton team.
Really?
I do. I really, really do. They have the assets. Moncton didn't have the assets. They
had a few homegrown.
Yeah,
ones
they had a home.
McKenna and Pelche and Ivanoff and.
It's not just that, but if you look at the cupboards right now that St. John has, they have 2 first-rounders this year. They have 2 second-rounders, I think. Then they got picks next year.
You're teeing up next week's episode perfectly.
This
I
is
appreciate it.
their. I mean,
Yeah, that's a lot of assets to go get.
they've got, without having to sacrifice roster players,
Yeah.
they have assets to literally become one of the best teams on paper that that we've seen in years,
Yep.
in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see what they manage to pull off here.
Professional transitions, bro. Now we're going to get to our View from the Other Bench Maritime Roundtable Edition.
View from the Other Bench.
So it's our yearly tradition at the around the Christmas time. We bring some voices from other maritime teams and get our outlooks getting into the trade period. So we brought friend of the show and now marketing coordinator of Dairy Farmers of PEI, Aiden Northcutt, to look at the division leading Charlottetown Islanders. Aiden, how are you?
Pretty good, guys. How's it going over there?
Well, not nearly as good as it's going on the island again for another year.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, it's always a good time to be an Islanders fan, but it seems like a little bit more so this year.
Something in the milk over there, I guess, is yes. Use that. You can use that anytime. Hey,
The guy says it, but I mean, they do drink a lot of chocolate milk. So.
So I mean, we had your voice of the Corey Marcineau. That's what his name was.
His name.
Early on, and I asked him the same question I asked Jamie Tozer. If this thing doesn't go well, is there a chance they move assets? This thing's going well. What are you hearing on possible acquiring assets?
Well, I think we're gonna start hearing a lot of the same things that teams like Bathurst and St. John here locally are going to be hearing as well. And that's, you're kind of in the middle of an arms race right now. Teams are going to start lining up for those really big pieces. So no names, obviously specifically, but I mean, you're just hearing a lot of the same, like, wow, we'd love to see another top six forward. We'd love to see another this and another that. And it's the same stuff, I think, at this point that every team wants to hear when they're in contending. Every team needs a top six forward. Every team needs that bottom four defenseman, or would like to kind of beef up their fourth line a little bit. So it's you're hearing a lot of that. It's a lot of I guess at this point seeing what's available and at what price.
So if you were put on, I know I saw on Twitter that you put out a prediction that Justin Robitaille would end up in St. John. What's your silver tuna for the Charlottetown Islanders?
Yeah, the Robitaille one might have been a little bit of recency bias because I'd just been watching the Islanders of Val-d'Or game, but that one seemed the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? St. John has the pieces in terms of draft capital, something that Val-d'Or severely lost last year. And I'm like, the two teams just kind of seem like a fit. And Trevor Georgie seems like the kind of guy who kind of likes to think a step ahead. And if he can add a high-end 18-year-old this year and can either move him next year or run it back maybe with a little more veteran squad, even though they'll lose a lot this year. Maybe he will. But as for the Islanders, the name that I kind of keep coming back to, because he really kind of seems like a Jim Holton type player, is actually was on the same trip, and maybe it's a little bit recency bias myself, but a guy like Samuel Johnson, not necessarily a player by name, but the idea that he's an 0-2, he's a 19-year-old player, a guy who is leading their team points wise. I mean, the boxcar numbers look good, but the other side of it is that Rwanda's kind of in a position where maybe they could look to take on a few futures as opposed to draft capital. I think that's the kind of the way it's being looked at right now in Charlottetown. It's no secret that a lot of the assets draft capital have been tied up in guys like Patrick Gay and Xavier Simoneau, which have obviously worked out, but you need to kind of look ahead and look at the players that are there. And obviously you want to win with them now. So hopefully a team will look at making a move later. And I think that a guy like Samuel Johnson, a guy who's playing top line minutes in Rouen and would, like all intents and purposes, likely be back as a 20-year-old, you could get some, give up some stuff for him now, maybe pay the price a little bit later on at the draft, but then also potentially move him or keep him as an overager yourself. So that's a guy that kind of piqued my interest, a guy that people aren't necessarily talking about, not the name that's being floated, but that's the kind of player I'm looking for forward to Charlottetown acquiring. Is not necessarily the sexy name like a Robida or a Desnoyers. Obviously, I'm sure they'll be in on those guys, but I think you'll see them if those prices are just way too high, which they likely will be in a Memorial Cup year. I think that you'll see them look at a player like that who might have some value beyond this year.
Yeah, I mean, Charlottetown's got a second this year, 4, 5, 7, no first or second next year. So it makes going out and getting the big fishes a little bit more difficult. You talk about all the teams that are going to be lining up. They're looking for the top 6 forward. They're looking for the defensemen. Charlottetown's got defensemen. They've got one of the best defense cores in the league. Charlottetown, I would say maybe a third, fourth liner, but the guy that the position I want to talk about is in goal. I've talked about it many times with Charlottetown in terms of Jacob Gooby. That was going to be what is his return this year? What is he sat behind Welsh? He sat behind, now the name's eluding me.
Colton
Ellis, yeah, and he's 10-5 this year. He's played well when he's needed to. If the the prices get too high on the forwards and the decor, is a goaltender an ad going into a cup run?
It's a good question, and it's a very valid one because it's a one that Charlottetown has definitely had their history with. When you look at the 2016-2017 season, they were in on Callum Booth. I mean, that was kind of the famous line, especially when it came to acquiring Colton Ellis last year. The team wasn't able to go out and get Callum Booth at the start of the season, and they ended up having to, for lack of a better term, settle for a player like Mark Grammatbauer. Now, Grammatbauer didn't work out in the long run, didn't in turn lead to the success, but they were able to kind of get draft picks in that back for him when they flipped him at the draft that year. But I think in the terms of Jacob Gooby, I think this is kind of the sink or swim year. I really liked what they did with bringing in Oliver Shatney as more of a player to kind of push Gooby. It's been mentioned time and time again. He had the Matthew Welsh in his 16-year-old year. He had Colton Ellis in his 17-year-old year. He had a lot of it's a lot of learning rope, a lot of great mentors. Paul Drew, obviously still there, a fantastic goaltending coach. It's now time to kind of see what he can do, I think, and I think this is the year to do it. When you have a guy like Shatney playing there as your 1A, seeing really if they're going to push each other and seeing if one player emerges from the pack. And I think to this point, it's both players have been really good, but I think Gooby has really risen to the occasion, which everyone was hoping he could. So I do think that they're set with their goaltending. I don't think you go out and acquire a European goalie or in the import draft to trade for another player, but that's my opinion anyways. I could be proven totally wrong, but that's kind of how I look at it for now. I think you're going to see Jacob Gooby and Shatney battle it out into the playoffs and see who's really going to emerge as the number one.
Yeah, which is, I mean, Gooby's played well. You always wonder if they're going to get that veteran backup that's just necessarily there to be on the ear for Gooby, in the middle of a game on, certain situations, but.
Yeah, and maybe that's still the case. I mean, there's no reason they don't go out and acquire maybe a 19-year-old backup that's kicking around the league.
Right. For sure.
But like somebody who maybe has been around the block and could sit even is fine with being a third string goaltender. I don't know. They're gonna have to, I'm assuming, go with somebody here in the short term. I'm guessing that Oliver Shatney might get called to international duty alongside Jakub Urbanic for Czech Republic. I couldn't be certain right now, but if he is, they're going to need a body there and really let Gooby have his time as the number one with no questions, and maybe you'll see what happens. I think these next few games, as players start to head off for international assignment, are going to be really telling times around the league for what teams specifically need. I mean, you look here in Charlottetown, we talk about the bottom 4 defensemen. Well, you're about to lose your number 1 defenseman in maybe the entire league, in Lucas Cormier, and he's likely going to be gone for 5 to maybe even 10 games, depending on how Team Canada does at the World Juniors, right? So if maybe you're looking and you're saying, okay, guys like Matisse Aguilar and Matt McQuaid who have had good years, maybe they're just not going to hold up in the playoffs, and we want to bring in some veteran leadership to kind of guide them into the next step of their career, but also help the defensemen now.
So you've clearly obviously followed the Islanders for many years now. I mean, at what point does it get, I guess, do fans start getting impatient? This team's never won a championship, but they've been close. If there's no big trades this year to really solidify the Islanders as I guess as a contender, they're obviously buying, but at what what's not a success for this team this year? Like at what if they don't get to the finals, is it would you consider it a disappointment, or what? I guess from you as a fan now, not as an employee. Yeah, it's kind of different having you on the show as given a different kind of opinion. But at what stage or what point does it become? Do fans lose their patience with the organization?
That's a bit different on the show. Not feeling like I have to toe a line here.
Yeah, it's no need to drink the Kool-Aid tonight, Aiden.
No, I think at this point, I think the next step is what fans are looking for. I think having a couple of years, it's been talked about now because last year was kind of the same thing. You made it to the Final Four 3 of the last 5 years, and technically, if you think about it this way, 3 of the last 4 opportunities in the playoffs, because we didn't have a playoff in 1920.
Yeah.
So it's I think fans now see that like the stars have aligned. You've got a player like Xavier Simoneau up front that the team hasn't seen skill-wise since probably Daniel Sprong, and you see a guy on defense like Lucas Cormier. All the respect in the world to P.O. Joseph. I love the guy. Love Guillaume Brisebois, but we've not seen a player in Charlottetown as dynamic as Lucas Cormier on the back end. The stars have kind of aligned right now. You got guys, amazing pieces like Brett Budgel. Like you mentioned, Burbanich earlier. Patrick Gay is having another worldly season right now, and somehow exceeding the expectations that were placed upon him, which I think is amazing too. So I really do think this year might be the big, like, the time is now. Like we tried in 16-17. I think that was a big learning experience for that team and for that staff in terms of going out and buying. I think that was a big learning one, but they're going to learn from those mistakes, or not, I shouldn't say mistakes, but learn from what they did in the past and use it this year to kind of make a really good run at it. I think that this is the kind of year that you need to, and I think that you're going to see that. And I think anything less than the finals is going to be disappointment for the team at least, and maybe so for the fans. But they also have full faith in the coaching staff, and it's kind of said multiple times on here, in Holton we trust. And I think that's going to ring true at any point, both this year at the trade deadline, in the playoffs, and then going forward this year too.
So he's sending Lucas Cormier to the Canada camp with some invites. Come here, play with us, as his little spy, and hey, do you want to come to Charlottetown? It's this. Just Lucas Cormier is making that team. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He's making that team. Just talk about the season he's having for the Islanders.
Oh, he's been incredible, and I think you're starting to see really what he has built upon last year. The numbers I can say it now. I don't work with the team. The numbers were a little inflated last year playing against Halifax and Cape Breton.
What?
And I say that with again all the respect and love in the world for guys like Cedric DeRusso and Thomas Casey. I think they absolutely did deserve the recognition they got.
Yeah.
Likewise with Colton Ellis and Lucas Cormier. But of all the guys who you can really see that step up, despite the circumstances from last year, it's been Cormier. He's really taken a big step forward. The offense has always been there, but you're seeing it defensively too. I spent a lot of times last year. There was a lot of kind of opportunities off the rush when it came to him, and that's what's going to happen when you play the style that he plays. But this year, it really seems like the defense has come a long way, and he's become a more complete player, and it's really, really something special to watch because that offense hasn't taken a step back, yet the defense is coming up another level. So he's I'd be shocked if he's not playing alongside a guy like Owen Power on the top line with Team Canada. I'd be shocked if he's not quarterbacking the power play unit there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
him and Owen Power. My goodness, what a wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Jesus.
Western Canada is going to get the first taste of what we've seen for a few years, and they're going to be impressed with that kid.
Yeah, I guess last one here for Aiden, so we can get you back to your life as a dairy farmer, or if you want to put it that way. I don't know.
Even the milking's over, so it's all good.
Yeah, right. I'm looking at the cupboards here in Charlottetown. For the picks the next few years. No first rounder in June. No first rounder in 2023. No first rounder in 2024.
Makes it tough.
Makes it it's gonna make things tough. I think the first pick he's having June is a second round from Schwinnigan. In 2023, there's no picks until the third round. 2024. There's no first round pick. How is this going to work in Charlottetown? If you really want to seriously make a move here, are we talking about, maybe sacrificing some roster players to, before these big moves are made in order to build up those cupboards? Or are we talking about including roster players, in these blockbuster trades to kind of make room? Because there's if I'm looking at this correctly, there's not much in terms of picks available.
So basically, just tell us how this is going to work.
Yeah,
Just lay it on the line. You're no longer with the team. Just run it down. How does this happen?
So in saying that, with me being not with the team, this is obviously purely guess, still as it always is. But my guess, and I'll say educated guess for the most part, as educated as I can be, is that I think what you'll end up seeing is, I think there will be some roster shuffling. I'm not entirely sure what that looks like. Maybe it's a guy like Patrick LeBlanc. Maybe it's a fourth line guy like Sam Archibald. Maybe something like that paired with picks. There is a bit of a logjam up front in terms of the players. I think this is one of the first years that I've seen Jim Holton and his coaching staff use almost a full have a full roster at his disposal in terms of carrying 2 to 3 forwards and an extra defenseman. He's usually always 1-1, and then player gets hurt and we're kind of like, uh-oh. But it's that's kind of what I see. I think you'll see a little bit of roster shuffling, but I do think that Jim is the kind of coach that makes, chicken salad out of chicken what. And the trade period I look at in particular would be the 2017-2018 trade period, when the team kind of outperformed their expectations and were rewarded with Jim going out and using the minimal draft capital that he did have to make a move. It was a little bit of a different situation there, where they did have that Valdor pick, first rounder, that ended up being Lucas Cormier, but outside of that, there really wasn't much in the way of draft capital, yet they still found a way to go out and get Derek Gentile. They still found a way to go out and get Cam Askew, get Daniel Hardy, and make some noise in the playoffs. And you can see how that went that year. So I do think there's a way to make it happen, and make it happen in the ways that you want. And I think that Jim has had the experience in doing that the last couple of years, where, as we've always said, and this one wasn't lip service, it's not a rebuild, it's a retooling. Mm-hmm. And I think you'll see that a little bit of that kind of mentality at work here, where it's like, okay, what can we do with the minimal draft capital that we do have to get the most out of them?
Yeah, it's. I mean, the only way I can physically see, Charlottetown making a serious move here and making it work would be to pull off the trades like Moncton did with Baie-Comeau to get Gabe Fortier, where you give up a prospect and then a second round pick and then 2/3 and 2/4. But at the end of the day, really at the draft, it ends up being the prospect in 3 seconds. So you have to find that fine line where you can say, okay, well, yeah, player A is worth, right now I could give you, 6 assets for player A, but really at the draft we're going to turn it into 4, but it's going to be 4 better assets, right? So it's that's the only way I can physically see the cupboards being mixed around in Charlottetown to make go. I wouldn't say go all in at a St. John level, but you're clearly going to be buying, and this is the only way I can see it working out.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think in my short time in the league, I got to see somewhat firsthand a bit of the 3D chess that goes on in terms of, we're going to trade you this now, but then we're also going to make this acquisition with this team, and you're going to get those picks back, and then I'm going to flip them to you, and then you're going to give me this at the draft, and the final price is going to end up being this player for 1 second-round pick. But this is how we have to get here. So I think you're going to see some of that. I tend to agree, given what's in the cupboards right now and what's there for draft capital. And also the other side of it is there are some you can talk about the prospects that aren't on the team. There's that too, kind of an overlooked thing. I'm not as well versed on the Islanders prospects as I was last year and the years past, but I know that the team's really high on guys like Anton Toplinski and Ian Fredericton, and there's a guy who's playing 16-year-old playing regular minutes in Junior A right now for a strong Yarmouth team, Mitchell Wagner, that I know that they really liked last year, and maybe there's something there to be had. I'm not sure, but it's going to be really, really interesting as a fan to see these trades made and say, okay, well, what's the across actually going to be? So it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, and it'll be fun as a fan, you'll get to experience what we get to experience going, they gave up what to get what? Oh, hang on. That's like, you'll have all your friends like, they gave up what to get what? Now just hang on to the draft. It's not completely like, you get that side now where you're like, what did they do? Why are they doing that? But, and don't worry about not being up on the draft prospects. We'll have you back on near the draft, and you'll be able to study those up.
Yeah, for sure. That works. That works for me. I'll start doing my homework now, making sure that I'm fully well versed.
Hey man, we appreciate any chance you can give us time, and like I said to you on Twitter, it's a yearly tradition. We got to have you on for at least some sort of round table. So we appreciate you taking the time to be on with us, man.
Well, I appreciate you having me once again, though, guys. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Aiden. Yeah, you kind of forget that Aiden's been on this show a few times as the social media guy, so he's got to toe that line, and to get the actual fan perspective there, it's kind of different.
Yeah, now that he's working for the dairy farmers of PEI, he's no longer the big cheese with the Charlottetown Islanders, but he's still a good guy.
Yeah,
and he definitely didn't milk it in with that interview, right? No. It's obviously we hope the Islanders. I want to see this team win a championship. So let's just hope they're the cream rises to the top here, and they can take their make St. John move along, out of the playoffs for a little early, and we'll see them at the Memorial Cup, and we'll take it from there, and we'll see what happens.
It's so interesting for that team, though, that in an all-in year when you're going to go in, the Memorial Cup is in your division, the Memorial Cup host. Bathurst, they got the new coaching staff. They're going to buy. They're in your division. You got Quebec, who missed out on the Memorial Cup. They're in your conference. Like, usually when you're trying to go all in, you're hoping that there's one other team in your division, or your conference or whatever. So with limited assets that we went over, he's going to be very strategic on where he's going to put that, whether it's a second goaltender to help Gooby, because you're all in with Simoneau and you gave up all these assets and you kind of got to go now, or is it depth on that third line, fourth line? We got a couple of those guys that could be here. It'll be quite a chess, 3D chess, as Aiden said, to figure out how Holton's going to make this happen.
Yeah, I was. I know I said some good things about St. John earlier. Obviously, that's not me to say much. So many good things about St. John. It's a Chris Dobson thing, right?
True story.
I don't want to butter them up too much. And sorry.
No, that one was good. That one was fluid. Like, you weren't thinking of that one. That one just came. That was good.
Yeah. So you don't want to. I don't want to talk too good about St. John, but honestly, I really do think that that they're going to look extremely, extremely powerful on paper after this especially after the World Juniors, right?
Yeah.
Because you know these final trades, these players that are going to the World Juniors, these trades aren't finalized until the tournament's done.
January 3rd,
Yeah, so we are
Monday.
only a few weeks
Yeah.
away from seeing what the final result will be in St. John, and that's
And if you're the Islanders, Quebec, Bathurst, Shawinigan, you're just hoping that they look great on paper, and they've looked great on paper for a few years.
don't
right?
count out Gatineau. I mean, there's
No.
they're that's a team. They can solidify some offense and maybe add a piece on the back end. They're not going to be a slouch either.
Nope.
So this is going
And
to be
Sherbrooke.
Yeah, same thing.
There's
Sherbrooke,
probably
they're-
there's 6-7 contenders right away.
Mhm.
Sherbrooke, Gatineau, Shawinigan, Charlottetown, Quebec, St. John, Bathurst.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's a big year.
Yeah.
So we just get to sit back and enjoy the show and
Yeah, and hopefully get some assets and
hopefully win some games.
yeah, and Tebow we trust. All right, let's get to everyone's favorite part of the show.
Eric Murray, Realtor, buy a house from him. Stick tap of the week.
Thanks, Johnny.
Yeah.
So I kind of teased it a little bit earlier. I feel kind of bad doing this, but I've got to give it to my daughter just for she went to this vaccination clinic. When we wanted to wait a few weeks before she got her shot, but we sit there and we watch the news, and she just noticed on TV that there was kids her age getting vaccinated against COVID-19, and she was like, "Well, Mommy and Daddy, when's it going to be my turn?" And we said, "Well, okay. Well, do you actually want to do this?" And she's like, "Yeah, I want to." So, like I said earlier, we were going to go Saturday to the Coliseum, but then her school had a clinic at the clinic, so we got her in there Monday night, and she was gung ho. She was Avery was the first one to go. She went with two of her friends, Ava and Olivia, and Avery was the first one to go out there and get the shot. So as a father, you're proud that she stepped up to do something like that. That's important. And Olivia was second in line, and Ava kind of she was you could tell she was scared, but Avery and Olivia went and held her hands, right? So
Nice.
that's just it was one of those moments where you're proud to be a parent, and I'm just super happy that it's done. Step one, and then another 8 weeks, and she's got her second. So that was a pretty good moment for the family, and we're Megan and I are both very proud of you, Avery, and we're excited that your life is going to be normal soon. There you go. So this one's for you, babe.
The Stick Tap of the Week, sponsored by Eric Murray Real Estate with the Remax Avante team. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Greater Moncton or surrounding area, make sure to check him out on social media or give him a call at 506-863-8802.
Thanks, Layla.
Yeah, yeah, we've never thanked her. Well done. Excellent stick tap, man.
Thank you.
That's You can give your daughter one every now and then,
Yeah,
especially
yeah,
when they go get the needle. Not every kid wants to get a needle.
No, we didn't know how it was going to be either.
Yeah.
But it was just something that we didn't tell her she had to do it. She was just I want to do it. And I guess my only concern was that she would say that
and then
get
get
there
Yeah.
and freeze.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, we walked in. There was a gentleman waiting there. She's like, "My name's Avery. I'm here for my COVID shot." And I'm like, "Okay, so far so good." You're clearly,
All right, we got in. Now we just got to get to the chair.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Hi, Avery," and then filled out little form, and he's like, "Okay, just go in this room. There's 4 nurses waiting for you." And she's like, "Hi, I'm Avery. I'm going first tonight." And so the nurse is like, "Okay." So she sat down in her chair, rolled up her sleeve, and she's like, "Okay, Brenda, let's go, Brenda."
Did she really?
Yeah. So that was, at that point.
You guys followed her every step of the way out. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were allowed in, and it's funny because this was the first time that Megan and I actually got to see the inside of the school.
Oh.
Because last year in kindergarten, we could go in, but we could only go to the classroom.
Oh, okay.
We had to go from the main door right straight to her classroom. This time we actually went into school. We walked around. We saw her classroom. We saw the gym. We saw the cafeteria. We probably weren't supposed to be touring around the school.
Obviously
but,
not.
there's no security there to say, hey, so no, this was pretty neat. It was literally, her second year at the school, and this is the first time we've actually seen it from the inside. So that was pretty neat.
That's awesome. All right, we're back with the Wildcat of the Week. Rosemary Lynn Massage is back for another season. She's having a very special discount right now, 15% off for all healthcare workers and first responders. Just go to rosemarylynmassage.business.site. Download the coupon until January 1st, 2022. And if you want to book a massage with her, just give her a call at 506-830-1224. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. This week's player had 2 goals, 2 assists in these 3 games, including the lone goal versus Drummondville, the shutout breaking goal, as well as the game winner against the Huskies. His line, Kalmakoff, with Kalmakoff and LaBelle, I mean, that line is just going. He stepped into that role that Barbashev had earlier in the year when Barbashev got injured. They had 12 points this past week, but you can only pick one of them. The Wildcats went with LaBelle. The Wildcat of the Week is number 22, Thomas Auger. That'll do it for us. I mean, we want to thank Aiden for coming on to discuss the Islanders' trade outlook, and we're going to do it again all next week. We have a jam-packed maritime discussion as we're going to talk to Pat, Gareth, and Jamie about the Eagles, Moose, and Sea Dogs, respectively. Don't forget, Valdor is in town Friday night. The Gold Diggers, you'll see Jeremy there. And it's the annual food drive game Sunday at 4 p.m. Victoriaville is in town. It's also Skate with the Cats. So get your tickets.
Pateni avec les chats sauvages.
Wait, get your tickets for that one. And maybe stay tuned to our Instagram. Maybe I'll give away some Skate with the Cat passes. So if you're going to buy tickets and you got some
what
skates.
What is it in French, Adam?
Whatever he said.
Say it with me.
No, that's it for us.
Patiner avec les chats sauvages.
Oui. See you next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Wildcast Podcast.
Thanks,
Follow
Mike.
us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.